It is finally race day in Chicago, and we needed an expert to talk all things fast cars and big races. So we look to no further than our pal, Ramblin' Ray Stevens. Good morning, my friend.
How are you?
We're good. We're excited it's finally here.
It's good to be here. Chicago looks really good. You know, this city needs a win, doesn't it?
Yes.
It really does.
You know, we listen to the news. When I'm coming and we do my segment, Doing Good in the Hood, we're always trying to talk of positive things. It's amazing to me how much negativity there is surrounding this race because of street closures, and it's going to be loud, and it's going to be smoky, and it's really not going to be any of those things, and it's going to be gone relatively soon.
Yeah, but 2 days in and out.
Yeah.
But it has taken a long time to set up. It's going to take a while to break down.
I noticed it was a little more...
Parking is at a premium right now.
I noticed it was a little more expensive to park this morning.
Well, tell me a little bit about why NASCAR is doing this. Why Chicago? Why here? Why now?
You know, and that's a great question, because a lot of people think, why not Indianapolis? Why not Charlotte? Why not some of these heritage motor racing cities and real red states? Why didn't they get this race? And the explanation for that is simple. NASCAR has had a drive for diversity for a long time, trying to get a little bit of ethnicity into the sport, if you will, and they've done pretty well with that. Some Hispanic drivers, of course, Bubba Wallace, who's really, he's controversial, but a really good guy, really a nice guy. They just want the Chicago makeup. See those pretty buildings we have? They want that. They want these people that are here that don't necessarily use the product, and the product's kind of taken a hit in the last several years. People are in their phones. We're all on our devices. We've got a 30-second memory span, and we can't concentrate. And races are long. Same thing that you see a problem with baseball and football, and more so. You guys know Chicago's traditionally a ball and stick town. We had the Chicagoland Speedway forever. We're not racing down there, but we're racing in here in town, and I think that's just because of the vibe, the look, and the feel, and what it's going to do and bring. They're talking 50,000 people for spectators is all.
Do you see this happening over and over again?
I don't know. I really think that what happens today, this weekend, will be telltale for the next 2 years, because Mayor Lori Lightfoot signed a 3-year deal. NASCAR management has changed. Obviously, Chicago management has changed with Brandon Johnson coming. Does it happen next year? I think it all depends on how good the city acts today, tonight, tomorrow, and how it turns out.
How do they do this? I mean, you're looking at the map. They're making these hard turns. How fast are they going? Is this dangerous? I don't know. I don't know if it's because I now have 2 and almost 3 children, but I get this like, this is too dangerous. We can't do this.
You know, I think it is dangerous, but I think there's probably 5,000 men and women in Chicago, in the suburbs, that drive the Ike, the Stevenson, the Dan Ryan, that could handle this track probably better than a lot of these drivers.
I saw 10 of them this morning, right?
You know, the new thing in town, of course, is put our hazards on, hit the shoulder, and let's go.
Yeah.
But these are pro drivers. I was watching earlier when you talked about what happens if it rains, and they do have a very neat, different tire for this race. It has a rain profile on it. It's almost like a street tire that you'd see on a Mustang GT or a Camaro or a Corvette. They'll race in the rain. You did talk about the lightning, but I think they pull it off. The only thing that is interesting and is a little scary, I think, for the drivers, is generally if there's a street race, you have a runoff area where you can, okay, I blew the turn. I ran out of talent, as we like to say in the racing business. In this instance, you're going right into a wall.
It's wall to wall.
This is wall to wall. This is Hillside Strangler. Boom, we're in the wall.
And then behind the wall, viewers, spectators.
For them, there's safety fences. NASCAR is very safety. They do have an incident from time to time, but by and large, pretty safe sport.
But on a race like this, we're likely to see a little wall rash.
Oh yeah. You're going to see. You know, you're going to see guys getting into each other, because this is a fresh track. I was down on the course yesterday, and Chicago paved these streets. These streets are like fresh. Man, if you were in a neighborhood, you pray for this kind of stuff. But it's slippery, and as they practice, as they qualify, they lay rubber down. Gives it a little bit more of a feel, more of a sticky surface. Now, if it rains, like you talked about, Mark,
then it becomes really slick.
Washes it away. So it's a whole different degree of difficulty. It will be interesting. I think it'll be fun. I think Chicago right now just needs to kind of take a breath. I know that things are expensive here, but they always are. The city needs something good. And I think this may be it. This could be it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, one of the questions I get a lot is, like, we've got a perfectly good speedway down in Joliet. Now, obviously, we want to show off Chicago, and like you said, show off the pretty buildings. You know, why are we not racing more down there? What changed with the economics?
I think it's not only economics, but I think that there were what they considered cookie-cutter tracks in Kansas, Chicago, mile-and-a-half speedway, not a lot of passing, not a lot of action, and they went away from it. And I hope that it doesn't turn into a giant fulfillment center down there like everything else. But it's just not as exciting as this race is going to be here in Chicago this weekend.
This is NASCAR's first ever street race.
It is, and we're kind of lucky to get it. And for your purists, Mark, because racing has changed. The cars have changed. They went away from lug nuts. It's like an Indy type tire and wheel now on the NASCAR. So some of the changes that they've made, some of the I don't want to say political correctness, but it's like they want everybody to win. They want it to be more even, almost like parity in the NFL or Major League Baseball. Good old boys and girls didn't like that.
Right.
And let me just say that if you are one of those people that is like, well, this isn't the NASCAR that I grew up with, go to Grundy. Go to Slinger up in Wisconsin, which is just a little bit north of Milwaukee.
That's a fun track.
What does this do for all those local tracks?
You know, I hope that it heightens people's interest in the sport, because if you go to some of these smaller courses and you see some of these experts from you know, local guys that could give any of these guys a run for their money.
Sure.
That's fun. And Mark, you must have been to Slinger, because it's like racing cars in a toilet bowl. I mean, it's just this really cool short track, and it's exciting. And we have that in Chicago. I mean, a lot of people don't know this. My mom tells me this all the time. When I was young, we used to go to NASCAR races at Soldier Field.
Right.
Yeah, so they raced in Soldier Field.
Look at that.
Yeah. And I think then they had the driver's list on a stone tablet.
Right.
Just kidding, Mom.
Just kidding, Mom. Ramblin' Ray Stevens, thanks so much for your time.
Always good to see you guys. I love you guys.
We're crossing our fingers for a great event.
Hey, Drive Chicago. I'm going to go do that now. We'll let you know, man. I think it's going to be good for the city. I think it'll be fun.
I think it's going to be good. All right. Thanks so much. All right. Stay with us. More GDC to come.